big things to come out of politics recently is just how much the public is changing their attitude. Before, when I look around at my messages and stuff that comes into me on Twitter, particularly Facebook messages seems to, it's a real good balance of what Brexiteer style voters are thinking, because that's the mainstay of who I deal with, people who knew there was something wrong with the country in the EU, and that's morphed into knowing there's something wrong with the country anyway, and knowing that we didn't get a proper Brexit because they dragged it out, we know, blah, blah, blah. But before the election, it was apathy, wall-to-wall apathy. People fed up. That's why certain politicians lost their seat. They'd just had enough of it. They didn't really care who they voted for. Some of them did a protest vote back to Labour because they got sick of the Tories not being Tory. I mean, the thing is, when you've got people with the title the Conservative Party, but they're not implementing anything conservative, and when you watch the last 3 or 4 years with the tyrannical approach to government and the fact that Labour never intervened once, why would a socialist opposition not intervene with the Tory government? Could that be because they're implementing socialist agenda? I think so. So the thing that's happened now, boom, it's opened up and everyone can see it's a uni-party. It's basically two vehicles going down a road and one's a bit faster than the other. That's it. Which one do you want to sit in? The advantage to the faster one, we'll call it, the Labour Party, is it's going that fast that everybody sitting in it can see the dangers. When you're cruising along at an high speed, you can watch the scenery and it all looks pretty pleasant. But when you're hurtling along and all of a sudden thinking, whoa, there's a lot of things at risk here, it opens it up to the public. So what you've got to look at, this is why I don't see that the Labour government being in power is a rip-roaring success. They'll think it is and they'll put it out that it is. But only 20% of the country voted for him. 20%. And he's lost at least 10% of that. Because even socialists don't want the things that he's implementing. So that tells you an awful lot, doesn't it? So there's only one way people will want change and fight for it, is they have to have something to lose. People don't fight if they're comfortable. It's like people don't go to work if they're comfortable. That's why our benefit system is a sham. Because so many people are able to claim benefits that don't qualify. And I always think that absolutely buggers it up for the genuine ones. The ones, I know a footballer who got his legs amputated because of health issues. He's a genuine case. Everything he did for his living, his livelihood, was taken away from him. That's a genuine claim. When you look at other people who basically play the system, and there's a shed load of them, they actually mess it up for it's like immigration. The ones that come in illegally mess up all the facilities for the ones that genuinely have a right to them or a need for them. So the good thing about it's not good. I know it's not good that we've got Labour, but the great thing about them being in, it's just like an expose on what they're really about. Even people that have been clamouring for them, Carol Vorderman's. I mean, she went on, didn't she, crying on. She's blocked me on Twitter, so somebody send it to me. But she's been crying on Twitter about what's happening, because she's selling a second home in Wales because of the rating tax going up, because they're stuffing it up them. And I feel like saying, you're bloody smart with figures, you girl. Why didn't you see this coming? Well, didn't you not have your glasses on for that? 2 from the top, 1 from the bottom. So when people like her are naffed off with it, and supporters and green activists, I mean, there's a green activist, he's been on Twitter a bit, I can't remember his name, it's something daft. But he's Labour this, Tories out, one of them, Tories out on bio. Even he's calling them. So I look round at stuff like that for feedback, because that's all your polling companies charge a fortune to politicians to poll to see how they're doing. And they haven't got any of them right. I've been beating them with results on elections. Cause I kept saying Trump will win. And you only need to look at why Trump will win and why Brexit won and why Starmer's losing support. Because the polling companies just stop people in the street, for instance, and randomly ask them a question. So you could get anything. People aren't paying any attention to politics. And the chances are you will get someone who's not paying attention to politics who will come out with whatever they come out with. But what you've got to look at is everybody that knows there's something wrong with the country, that understands that we're going down the pan. They all have friends and family members, they all have colleagues at work, they all have people they catch the bus with, they all have people they meet on the dog walk, queuing up in the supermarket, and they talk. Word of mouth, it's the most valuable thing we've got. Let's face it, the French resistance survived on it, and that was without any social media communications. So once it gets really bad, it basically ignites a fury in people that want to change it. And President Trump winning in America, it's only upset the crybabies, the weirdos that, faking period pains, you know what I mean, don't you? That obviously for some reason in their former sex were not very attractive anyway and decided to put a frock on. I think they're going to be, they can get away with being obnoxious because they've decided to be trans. People who are trans just get on with life. I know a couple and they just get on with their life, that's it. They're not on social media moaning on about it. So when you look how Keir Starmer is being talked about by his own side, I've got a shed load of messages. I have to scroll back through because it takes me a while. I get like 250 a day. If they just send me links, I have to ignore them now because I've seen most of them. I'm on all the time. And I try and concentrate on information that people give me. Hi, June. Just to let you know, I won't be voting, stuff like that. So in my messages, there is a shift from apathy to rage. It's rage. There's nothing more I can say. It's rage from people who are up to here with the cost of their energy bills and the way fuel is going up. That Times graph, the Financial Times graph, where it shows energy prices, electricity prices, and it's got who's got the dearest and who's got the cheapest. China's got the cheapest. No way! Opening new coal-fired power stations, China's got the cheapest electricity. Funny that. And we've got the dearest. We have got the dearest. Well, like Leap said, it's the only thing we're leading in. I've said it before, I'm always saying it because we need to keep reminding people. There's nothing going to upset an individual more than having less money to spend from the money that he earned. That's it. You don't need to look at anything else, whether they're spraying the skies, trans issue. You don't need to look at anything else. If a man is sitting in his lounge with his family and he's worked all week, this isn't these pen pushers in the political bubble, got to get another story out, 5,000 quid for like 250 words. This isn't these sort of people. This isn't like your pen pushers, your journalists and your writers and your creative arts. No, this is people who might be stuck down a bloody hole in the middle of winter, digging it up for water board or for council because something's gone wrong. This is normal people shoveling themselves up scaffolding in freezing cold weather, handling metal bars where they have to wear gloves because it's so damn cold. Dangerous as well. Yeah, these people, normal but working blokes. When a working bloke comes home from work and he's done it all week and he looks at that pay packet that's now going less and less and less because his mortgage has gone up 300 quid and his fuel's through the roof and he's trying to car share to get to work to save money, they are naffed off and they can see who's causing it. So they want change. And change will come. We do have longer to put up with these comedians. But the longer they're in, the worse they go, the bigger the army. On our side. You can disagree with me, but that's what I see. And I see people who haven't took any notice of my political posts, friends, people I know in real life, are now on the threads. And I thought, oh wow, they haven't commented on a political post for God knows how long. They've come on my dog. They're always on my dog stuff, for showing my garden and my dogs. So what I see is an opportunity, and this is why Nigel Farage stays upbeat, because he sees it too. Rupert Lowe sees it too. Ben Habib sees it too. Got into a bit of a spat yesterday on Twitter. Ben Habib put something up about that kick-off in Amsterdam with the football. Just his opinion. Trust me when I say Ben is a multimillionaire businessman. I've dealt with him nearly every day of the week since before Brexit. He's a kind, considerate man. He's one of the most astute and knowledgeable people in politics today. That's why he gets invited on Sky, the BBC and GB News, because he walks the line. He doesn't come out with outrageous stuff, and he shares his knowledge. It's a value to that. There's a value to that because he reads more documents than I do. He understands politics like Jacob Rees-Mogg understands it. This is nothing to do with agreeing with their opinions. This is knowing there's somebody out there savvy. Somebody out there gets it, who isn't part of the mess. Do you see what I mean? And these people need supporting. So there I am scrolling through my Twitter, having a brew in one of my cups. By the way, a woman asked about these. The Villeroy and Bosch. I went posh about 3 years ago with my crockery because I was sick of keep breaking it. So I thought if I get something expensive, I'll look after it better. It hasn't worked out. Anyway, back to Ben. So I'm scrolling through and Ben had put his thing out. Now, the Middle East isn't something I'll comment on because they've been arguing about it since Jesus was trying to get his sandals sold and healed, as you know. And there's just no way a blogger is going to sort that mess out. And I didn't really comment on the football thing, apart from listening to a lad, an English lad, who was at the match because is it Ajax, whatever they call it, he supports the Dutch team, and he was telling us what went on. So I listened to that on Talk Radio. And then there's this comment on Ben's page. Basically, I'm not going to tell you the news outlet because it's not that popular, it's not that big. They haven't got a YouTube page, I don't think. So Ben put his comments out, nothing spectacular, just saying what he noticed and how dangerous it is, and these attacks, whatever. It's not the issue. That's not the issue. The issue isn't the content. The issue is attitude. So Ben put his stuff out. Now, I respect Ben Habib because of his attitude. He would make a very good Prime Minister, in my view. It's only my opinion. I'm a layman at the end of the day. I'm no expert, but I've got a shed load of excellent contacts politically, in the medical world and journalism. And I use them to do stuff like this. I use those contacts. I look at what they say. I research it. And I've got the time to do it. And I make typing mistakes and stuff like that. But that's, you put up with it. I'm not charging, am I? So this news outlet, I'm not prepared to say their name because I'm not giving them the bloody publicity. And they should know better. They're supposed to be a professional outfit, or so they claim. They're not a big outfit. They're on like Rumble and that. Why are you lying like this? ? To Ben. There was provocation that led to this. Are you paid to lie? ? Are you dumb enough to think you can use this to help stop immigration? ? If you are, then you are clearly a moron. To Ben Habib. So I saw it and took the hump. And I said, because of his attitude, calling Ben a liar and a moron. So I said, don't talk so round-shouldered. It's just his opinion, he's allowed that. He's on his own page, that's it. Don't talk so round-shouldered. It's just a silly comment, isn't it? And then I said, your outlet's getting a bit fanatical. Because I've seen him on other people's threads like this. And he's been rude. He's like aggressive and antagonising, trying to get people to fight back. So anyway, he decides then to have a pot back at me. So he says, after I've called his outlet fanatical, I know who it is, he's called David Clues, I think. But bugger it, I'll tell you, Unity News Network. I've been on his show once a couple of years ago, but we don't gel. Yes, we are fanatical about the truth. Let's be honest, June, you really aren't the brightest, are you? We had you on the show and we see your videos. Your knowledge of geopolitics is childlike. You see, what hasn't worked out is my knowledge of geopolitics is as good as anyone else's. I put it out in layman's terms because I have a lot of people who want to understand what's going on but don't get the time to research it. And I have no interest in being some sort of like aficionado on this stuff. I'm just like everybody else, muddling through this lot, seeing I'm getting stuffed by politicians. So, and then he has the nerve to put a post out. You can't believe it. He put a post out inviting me and Ben on his show. Oh yeah, get your numbers up, eh? Ben's popular, I'm popular. No, we don't want to go on your show, so we're just ignoring you. And then somebody else said, Ben Habib shouldn't even be in country. Oh, what do you do with his mother, Jenny, then? You know, the English woman Jenny who married his dad. She got to be deported as well because she comes from somewhere else. I just don't believe in that sort of thing, to be honest. And, the difficulty here is when somebody cannot see what's stood in front of her, which is a jolly decent chap who would be a benefit to British politics, relying on calling him names because of his mixed race, or even suggesting for 1 minute that Ben Habib is a moron or paid to lie. He's a multi-millionaire businessman. He doesn't need the money to do this. He spent his own money defending Northern Ireland because of the protocol, because they've gifted Northern Ireland 230,000 people who've just said, yeah, have them, to the EU. Still trying to currently make people in Northern Ireland use a pet passport to come to England. You know, jump on a ferry and take your dog. No, you can't now. They want you to have a European pet passport. Sod off. So Ben's done a lot of good. And I still, whatever party Ben was with, Ben is worth being an MP. He'd make an excellent MP because he'd be tenacious. He'd be doing it for the right reasons. Some people go into politics to make a fortune. Some people go in it to make a difference. And he's the latter. So yeah, that's why I defended it. It was nothing to do with the issues. I'm not interested in discussing Gaza and Israel. I couldn't give a monkeys because it's not going to change anything. It doesn't mean I agree with kids getting killed. I don't want to discuss it because we're not going to change it. This is big stuff. They'll be going to war for different reasons to what they tell us, and we'll never get to find out about it. And hopefully when Trump is inaugurated, stuff like this will stop, just like in Ukraine. So anyway, that's what happened yesterday on Twitter. He's still going on about me being thick and stupid. I'm not that bloody stupid. All right. I had 2 teeth on a plate when I was young, and I once put them in the fridge when I was drunk. I forgot. Is that stupid or just forgetful? Anyway, I had them crowned after that 30 years ago, just so I couldn't leave them in the fridge. We do silly things, but I won't put up with just direct insults. To call someone like that, I mean, I will call a troll because they're coming on my page trolling me, so I'll have a dig back. I don't mind that. But I cannot understand someone on our side of the fence who believes in what we believe in: freedom, body autonomy, a decent government, fuel prices at the right price, the country looking after, he believes in that sort of stuff, would have a pop at Ben Habib. What is the point? How stupid and counterproductive is that? Anyway, comments on the thread, I'll be reading them later.